And I know you also have questions to ask, and we are inviting you to do so via WhatsApp line. You can text in on 0551575757, or when we open the phone lines, you can join us on 0302 211-693 or 694. Your comments are also welcome on our social media platforms. 65 years of independence, and we want to find out where we are and where we are going to. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. It's an honor to have you join us again this morning.
I'm grateful.
How did you celebrate your Independence Day?
I think I went to Cape Coast.
Okay.
To represent my party and the people of the northern region and Upper East and Savannah. I was there. I went there. It was, as usual, fanfare, allowing children to stand in the scorching sun.
Would you change it if you came?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We don't even talk about the essence of independence. We just go there, punish these kids, let them march past, and then even so at most time they get hungry. They don't even get water, and then we sitting at the podium and other places. We even get tired sitting. Not to talk of those standing out there to march past.
What would you have done differently on a day like this?
On a day like this, you need to talk about the history of Ghana, where we have started, how we've come, what we have achieved, the importance and in past, and your small vehicles, and then ambulances, and the people you've gained independence are watching and laughing at you. I was sitting with the diplomatic corps. And they were practically making fun of us when we showcased 6 ambulance passing, brought in our... I mean, if you have equipments to fight war, let it be a hidden thing. Put it somewhere. When the day comes, people will know what you have. When you come and showcase people jumping and falling and destroying the image of Ghana, and then when you come to deliver speech, now you talk about an all-inclusive governance. It's good to talk about an all-inclusive governance system. That's what we've been campaigning. But when you come out, I was living a showcase of Land Cruisers. The whole of my life, I've never seen Land Cruisers like that before. Like toys.
Outside the stadium?
Yes, outside the stadium, like toys. Can you imagine a third world nation like Ghana struggling to get economic independence? You see, we talk about independence. What independence do we have? Political independence and nothing else. And even that, how political are we in terms of independence? We are talking about economical independence. That is what I'm looking for.
Wow. Are you impressed with 65 years and where we find ourselves in? I mean, people always make comparisons to some of these Western countries which have been in existence for, I mean, gained independence, some 200 years, some over 100 years. Considering 65 years.
10 years. 65 years down the lane. The basic necessity of life is 3 square meals for our children, which we cannot achieve. That many Ghanaian children go in bed hungry. You either get first meal in the morning, and if you're happy, you get one in the evening to add up. Or you don't get a meal at all a whole day, and you have to drink water or porridge. 65 years down the lane, we cannot produce to consume. Just internally, locally, we cannot produce enough food for our children and family to consume. Is that not shameful? 65 down years lane, we cannot manufacture anything. That practically everything we must import. Is that not slavery? Where's the independence? 65 years down the lane, God has blessed us with all the minerals. We borrow to the extent that where we are today, we cannot borrow. We are not even qualified to borrow because, you see, Ghana has been downgraded to C, which means that we cannot pay debts when we borrow. That's the meaning of the situation. Ghana is not broke. Ghana is bankrupt.
There's a difference.
Yes, it's bankrupt. It's not broke. It's not only broke. It's bankrupt. We are useless. We become so useless to the extent that nobody is willing to borrow us money. Can you imagine that we've mortgaged everything that we have for the next generation? Not your generation, not my generation, the generation after your great-grandchildren. We've mortgaged it for borrowing. And you think we've done well in 65 years? You think we are heading...
What would you say constituted to some of these decisions for us not to be able to, generate what we create a certain system of internal revenue so that government can make money?
Instead of assessing the independence you've had over the years to see what has changed over the years, all you do is to jubilate, mismanage, corruption, no leadership. Everybody is just grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. No accountability, no creativity, no innovation, no production, no manufacturing, nothing. Skyrocketing, that's where your city...
That certain politicians or governments or parties coming to power to prepare themselves just for the next election.
I think that we spend more money campaigning than building our country. We spend more money campaigning to be president than more money invested in changing the economy of Ghana. And pragmatic leaders that can transform this, not political platforms. Leaders.
Does the influence of politics and management of these parties become so big a deal that there is that 4-year term that you have to transform an economy? Is it even possible?
Yes, it is possible. Your wife gets pregnant 9 months. She gives birth. In 4 years, I don't want to be president for 8 years. Never. You see, when you put proper structures...
4-year term?
Yes, I want a one-term presidency.
Wow.
To change the face of Ghana, and people will see. You see, when you put proper structures in place, automatically it works.
Saying on the back of that, what are some of the gaps or the focus areas that we should have concentrated on, in your opinion, in the past?
Okay, infrastructure. And what again? Did I mention health?
Yeah, health.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, these are the basic necessities of life that we need to take care of. Have we been able to overcome these problems after 65 years? No. Look at our roads. Very bad. Even mining companies, and look at the roads there, very bad. These are companies making huge sums of money and benefits in this country, yet government cannot tax them to construct proper roads. Now you go out in this town, that you realize that every road, every government will construct it 3 or 4 times before they leave power. Same road. We are only resurfacing the roads every year to make more money. How can we be thinking like this? Now, look at a country is able to grow by agriculture. The number of things you produce. What do you produce? We have cocoa, we have timber, we have bauxite, and all those things. Ask me, are 21st century slaves? Let me put it that we are 21st century slaves, like Nkrumah said, the neo-colonialism. That is where we have gotten. We've given out everything that belongs to the ordinary Ghanaian to the foreigners. So that's why when you take a plane from any part of the world coming to Ghana, there are more white people in the plane than blacks. Because they know that Ghana is an avenue for them to exploit. Because the Ghanaian man is just here. It doesn't work. We just give out everything and we sit down and watch. So our slaves, our kids are now slaves. We are also becoming slaves. And yet we've mortgaged all the natural resources that we have again out. So tell me, are we not slaves? Where's the independent?
The NPP...
Which independence are you celebrating?
The NPP...
I'm coming. I want you to answer. Everything they have to dictate to you. Where's the freedom? Which freedom do you have? That even your currencies, they manipulate it. Whatever you want, IMF, whatever they give you back your own money and say they are borrowing you money. Whatever you do here in the world, they manage it. So where's the freedom?
Even before my next question, what I was going to ask earlier on, is it... This is the voice of a politician before getting into power. These are things we've heard from numerous politicians before they take that seat. But when they get into parliament, when they take the seats of government, they cause for alarm on the kind of structures we have set up, to run and govern the country.
When you promise me something and you don't deliver, what should I take you for? Either you are not serious, you are a liar, or you are incompetent. So when the politician promise Ghanaians, they will give them ABC and they come to power, they don't give. You take them out, they come with good promises. Very, very, very interesting promises that you think that when they get to power, then they are confused. They have power. They don't even see that you are important. They don't even see the difficulties you are facing. And that is what I'm saying. I always say that when I become president, a lot of incentives given to politicians must be taken off. For instance, car. You buy your own car. You pay your own house workers. You buy your own fuel, no free fuel for you. No allowances you get. But everything that every ordinary Ghanaian is not entitled to as an ordinary Ghanaian, you are also not as ordinary citizen. Because when you are in power, when you are not in power, you have common sense. When you go to power, you lose the common sense because everything becomes free for you. Free car, free house workers, household workers, free fuel. Wherever you go, hotel bills are being paid, air ticket, everything is free. Why should we give you so much? When we give you the way out of power, that is when you begin to realize that, hey, the economy is tough. So when we take off all this done, because you are getting salary.
Yes.
You are paid salary.
Yeah.
If you have to go for official duty, fine. They can take an official car for you to take you there. But once you are out of official duty, you should use your salary to pay the bills. So if we do same with our ministers and our public workers and all that, they will begin to put policies that will make sure that cushion everybody's life.
On the back of that, the NPP promised the NAPCO, the 1D1F, the free SHS. These are interventions and these are things that were supposed to help, with development. Like you mentioned that you would, things you want to tackle like education, like agriculture. All these are similar to what the NPP government also kicked. And what makes, or what will be different from example with yours, if you took office with something like this?
Delivering. And not being corrupt, dedication to the promises you make, implementing them the best and having a proper blueprint. That is what the MPP did not have. And that's why you see that NAPCO have crashed. One district, one factory, crashed. Planting for food and agriculture, crashed. You know why? Because if you go to the market, the prices of foodstuff are higher than items. Kinky, pure water, the ordinary things that we consume, just look at the prices. I'm not the one to tell you that it has crashed. I just want you to make the comparison. You see, we are not serious as a nation. I'm being honest with you. Our leaders are not proactive. Our leaders do not think of, they don't make sacrifices. The ordinary Ghanaian make more sacrifices than our leaders. If our leaders should make such kind of sacrifices in the world, the best worker in the world is a Ghanaian working abroad. And the worst worker in the world is a Ghanaian working in Ghana. That's my quotation. Quoted from Hassan Ayariga.
Analysis.
Yes. When we are out of this country, we are so dedicated and patriotic in what we do because we are monitored. And when we are monitored, we want to show and do the best. But when we are in our own country, we have this word that we call, and yeah, me Papa Juma. It's not my father's word. If I hear that word when I become president, you go to jail. That word. It's not my father's work.
It's Kwame Nkrumah said the black man is capable.
Black man is capable. But when there are other opportunities available to the black man is useless. That's it. Do you understand it? Do you understand the quotation very well?
I want to get more to it. If there are no opportunities available to the black man.
Yes, he's capable. When there are other opportunities, the black man is useless. So the black man is never capable of managing his own affairs. He's only capable when there are no other opportunities available to him. Nobody will borrow him money. Nobody will do his work for him. He's stuck somewhere. Lock us up in this room. Okay, all of us, including your crew. And we believe there's nobody outside. We will manage and find a way of coming. But once we know somebody, call this person to come and open the door. Hey, somebody will come and open it. That is the idea of the black man. But in actual sense, but we don't plan. We fail to plan. And whoever fails to plan, plans to fail. So black men, I don't know whether it's the skin or it's the geographical location. All the African leaders, think about it. Where's the African trade? Where's the African market? Where's the African currency? Where's the African leadership? We've all become beggars. You see, last 4 years, I saw in the TV or 3 years, that the African leaders all queue in front of China president or Chinese president to beg for money. When your continent is richer than the rest of the continent in the world, but lack of leadership, you become a beggar. We beg too much, and that's why the white man doesn't believe in us. So we tend to become beggars in the 21st century. We beg and beg to the extent that everybody looks at us and a black man is never, we don't have value anymore. You know why they don't respect us? It's not because we are poor, it's because we are stupid. Do you understand? We are not poor. It's because we are stupid. That's why they don't respect the black race. It's not that we are poor. We are very rich. But we don't use our brain. Even common sense, we don't use it. But don't forget, common sense is not common to common people.
Well, post-COVID-19 effects, where we are still trying to steer ourselves out of a certain unexpected global pandemic. Does that in any way account to what we are seeing now?
I think COVID-19 was a relief to Africans and Ghanaians. And we didn't make good use of it.
Explain.
Good. In COVID, Ghana got a lot of money. $100 billion. Am I right? And many incentives. Companies were helping government with a lot of funding and resources. What was our expenditure in COVID? Tell me, one serious expenditure, apart from the stimulus packages they said they were giving, and those who benefited were not every Ghanaian, were the members of the MP. I gave a distributor rights, the former president distributor rights, ministers, former ministers, and MPs distributor. We all did that. What was government serious intervention? Apart from stimulus packages, what else? That we even have to pay when you are traveling. I went to Germany last week when I was coming. Even my, declaration, health declaration, instead of they taking $50, they took $120 from my accounts. Till now, I'm struggling to get my $70 back. So all these monies, $150 mean to the ordinary Ghanaian, it's a whole lot of money. How much is your salary? So if you are traveling and you have to release $150, and you are telling me that COVID is a disincentive, the economy broke before even COVID came. We're already not doing well before COVID. And if you remember, there's the World Bank representative of Ghana says that if we don't take care, he's not the one telling us so. He doesn't even know that we have crossed that lane. He's yet to define that lane for me. We are already bankrupt. We are not broke. So he's telling that we should be truthful. How truthful can we be now? Everybody has seen, well, after Nkrumah, the rest of the management of our economy failed us. You cannot attribute it to one particular government. All of them have lied to us, and they keep lying. You see the funny thing? Instead of coming out, look, I'm happy to hear the president say that, oh, he wants a hands on board. Because initially, when he took over power, he said he's in a hurry to transform Ghana. That was his words. I'm in a hurry. 6 years down the lane, he said, I cannot do it alone. And I need the support of everyone to help. Now, you have, if it's what you said is what you meant, you want everybody. Now, engage the NDC and pass the e-levy and let's see. That's the first task. You say you want everybody on board, then engage the NDC. Since you think that e-levy is what you want, engage them and pass it with them.
Since you brought it up, I want to ask you about your take on the e-levy.
I think that I'm a very patriotic citizen of Ghana, and I see things the way it's supposed to be, not the other side of it. We have borrowed, finished the borrowing. The particular government has borrowed $220 billion as it is. More than all government put together, $120 billion. Now, what's the option? If all this borrowing cannot be useful and cannot transform or bring back the economy, do you think 7 billion can bring back the economy? Now, if you look at the auditor's report, 12.8 billion has gone to waste. Why don't you get people to get back all those money? 12.8 billion has compared to 7 billion. Which one is better? But you've left that one, you're running for e-levy. Fine. E-levy is electronic taxation. I think I'm president, borrowing will be my last option. We must all contribute to build our country. And if we cannot contribute to build our country, and we must take the government on and make sure that they account to us the monies we pay to them. And that is what has failed in all these governments, all these political leaders over the years. Accountability, sincerity, probity.
You feel that is an issue with the e-levy?
I'm coming. That's the issue. Yeah. Ghanaians are willing to pay taxes to build their economy, but can they trust?
You know, they carry for 30 million.
I'm coming. I've not answered your question yet.
Yes, okay.
I'm still giving you the explanation so that I'll open the minds of Ghanaians to, before I give an answer, to see what we need to do. Now, the e-levy, whether it's a tactics to make money or it's an invention to get back to borrowing, is the question. Is the e-levy a revenue for Ghanaians to be used to build roads, construct schools, hospitals, or is the e-levy purposely put up to use for?
I'd love to hear your take on that.
Thank you. If the e-levy is meant to generate revenue to build roads, hospitals, schools, and then we can trust this government to make good use of e-levy, then they should sit with the current parliament, because they are finding it difficult to pass legislations in parliament. So if the current government is finding it very difficult to pass legislation in parliament, what it means is that there's a big to be sincere, honest, no matter who is there. When government of the day is bringing in policies that you, even on the other side, think that the policies are good, you endorse it. If you on the other side think the policies are bad, you judge with government, because that is the purpose of leadership. And
isn't that the reason why we have challenges, you know, because of the hung parliament as well?
It's supposed to be a better parliament for us, that they can judge and bring a better policy that will transform this country. That's what we've been asking for, an inclusive governance system where everybody has a stay.
So why can't the NDC and the MPP work together? Because clearly it looks like both parties have taken certain stands on
lots of major issues. It's because of their personal interest. Very well. Both parliamentarians are bargaining for themselves. No, they are not actually putting up the policy to begin to bring our economy back to life. The NDC will tell you that, okay, if you want us to help us pass, you must do this ABC. Our candidates, this must not be punished, that must. These are conditions of personal interest, not conditions to build our economy. Are you getting what I'm saying? The MPP also is coming with just things that to make them look good. But if you say this is wrong, I'm coming to support it. I'm not against the transformation of our country, Ghana. I am for the transformation of our country, Ghana. And I thought that this parliament would have been one that will bring in policies currently together with the NDC. I wish I had parliamentarians in.
Are we doing well with the hung parliament?
I think we are not. We should be doing well. Sincerity is one. So when other nations are telling us we should be sincere to ourselves, are we being sincere to the people who gave us the mandate? Are we being sincere to ourselves that, of course, ABC policies are good, ABC, CDE are bad? Your own future. These people who are not managing, are you sure? Can you really say that your future is guaranteed? Can you? That's the question.
The second term of the MPP government, would you say we should allow time in any way after just 2 years down the line into governance?
I told you initially that if a government would do well, one term is enough. And I told you I just needed one term. Well, how many structures have they put, how many institutions have they put in place that automatically they can work without anybody monitoring it? No. And let me be very sincere, 2 years, next year they will start, they've already started campaigning. What do you think is going to happen? The rest of the resources is going to be pumped into elections, not into transforming or building your motherland. Your motherland is nobody's concern. It's useless to them. They draw strategies and policies of how to win elections. If you don't know how to win elections, go and look for a Ghanaian and bring him to your country. He will give you all the rundown, the commentary. But tell him to transform his country, he will be adamant. He will just be mute, like Mumu. He can't talk. Because we are masters in stealing. People acquire knowledge just to steal instead of acquiring knowledge to implement. You understand this term?
Since you mentioned knowledge, I want to just dovetail into education for a bit, and let me probably push you to the wall on this. And this is possibly a layman's question from an average Ghanaian who'll be asking that. Under the NDC, President John Dramani Mahama was heavily focused on building e-blocks, creating the infrastructure to build our education system on. Under the current president, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, introduced a free SHS. Now, we are left in a limbo as to, and both parties have fought which one should have come first. What do you make of this? I mean, as a citizen, when we look at a situation like this, we find ourselves between a rock and a hard place in understanding which is better. Do you think such interventions have been overly ambitious by both parties?
You cannot have a plane that you want to take off without an airport, without a tarmac. How are you going to take off? Are you going to run through why the free education has also crashed? Because it has crashed. It's very expensive now than before. Free education has destroyed education. That's the reality. Because you see, when I say a blueprint is important, it is important because you have to begin to draw the plans from A to Z. If I need to implement free education, what is the beginning of free education? Infrastructure, classrooms, enough teachers, enough learning materials, enough teaching materials. We're doing so well because of free education. I've said it on and on. Free education is not supposed to be free to everyone. Those of us that can pay, let us pay. Those of us that cannot pay, let them get that opportunity. So that we streamline those who can pay from those who cannot pay.
How can that be done?
That is easy. You put the schools into two categories, A and B. Category A schools are schools that if you want to pay, go there and you pay for your children. Category B, we can say other schools. You cannot pay. Government should now use the less resources that we have to build category B students, schools, to upgrade them to have equal level with category A. So that when you are in a Chumota, you say you are in Chumota, we know that your father is paying for you. When you are in another school, we all know that these category B schools are being taken care by government. But then, the little resources we have, we reduce the burden of government so that they go to category A schools. Those of us that cannot pay, we then send our children to category B schools. And that's the end of education. And education becomes quality. Now we have free education, we don't have quality education.
Wouldn't that be unfair to some parents?
No, but it's not unfair to me. My brother, I'm richer than you. Like it or not.
I'm younger than you.
Thank you. It's not, no, rich is not about age. I have put up businesses. Sorry, but I'm better coming up. You understand? So if you send your child to those schools that they are not paying, it's not because you have the money. It's because you don't have the capacity now. When you have the capacity, you would like to take your child out there. Because you think that, look, I want my child to know that I can pay. But all hands are not equal. People are richer than me. Very. They too, they will take their children to a different advanced schools. Are you getting it? So depending on our stage and our status, we cut our coat according to our size. The rich will go there.
We're actually very happy about the fact that now they could take their wards to school, because after JHS
you still take your ward to school if we categorize them into category A and B. Yeah, I think you are still not getting my point.
You. Into two parts where you'd have...
if I can pay, I will send my child to the school. If you are richer than me, you send your school to the schools they can pay. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that it's a choice. It's a matter of choice. It's a choice. Nobody is forcing you to bring your child to Achimota where you can pay. Nobody says that. If you cannot pay, but I'm saying the limited resources will give us the equilibrium of the education and give us the better education. Look, parents, ask parents and see what they are going through. Books is becoming very expensive. I have children in the free education. My kids are not in abroad. And I don't want to mention the schools they go. If you go, come around, you see that all my kids None of my children is abroad. I can send them abroad, but I want them to be in Ghana.
How many kids do you have?
I have 5 kids, and they are all schooling in Ghana. All of them, they are all here. None of them is outside this country. Kids are part of the mess. Do you get it? So I will fight to make sure that the education, and I've been talking about it every time. Look, consensus building that the president is talking about is what we should have integrated into the free senior high school. Even till date, I think we should still sit down. If you know what parents are going through right now, you'll be shocked. The school freedom program is crashed. The schools have become so useless to the extent that my children tell me, Daddy, you know what? Even in our school, the children come, they don't learn, they don't come to classes. So after all, they'll pass me. After all, they'll pass me. Listen to that. So they are not learning to pass. It's after all these
things. We mentioned we mentioned the school feeding program, for example. I mean, in recent times, we've had issues with regards to persons who've been put in place to manage these things. Can we draw a line between that the persons who sometimes are supposed to make some of these innovations work and developmental ideas work are not the ones who are not doing the job right?
You see, you started by asking the first question that when I answered by leadership, whether we are doing things right, and all they don't have a blueprint. So all the promises they are making is for you to vote. When you vote them, they don't perform. And I said initially that what do? We change them. But what do? We recycle them. Because they are only making juicy promises so that you and I, the ignorant one, will vote for them to go to power.
So on the back of that, how can a layman trust you?
Because when you get the first power, me or them.
You.
I mean, as for Hassan Ayariga, I think over the years, I've been very credible in the things I say. I stand to the things I say. And I believe that I'm fighting for the cause. I want to change the world, change Africa, change the leadership of Africa.
This might mean some very radical decisions.
Very. That's what I always say, that when I become president, some people will go to jail and others will some people go to hell and others will go to heaven. Those standards must be set, that you know that when the system doesn't care whether you are Hassan Ayariga. No. The systems are always crashing because we don't have proper system. We're feeding the system with wrong information. When you put proper system, even look at our tax collection. So when you put proper system and proper institutions, I am telling you, when you don't feed the system properly, it will not take you to the next stage. You know that kind of thing. This data system, when you say key in this, you don't key it to stop. It will stand still, it will not. These are the kind of systems we need to put in our management affairs. So that when you are corrupt, you want to manipulate the system, it will not allow you to manipulate it. These are the kind of system and institutions I want to put in place. We don't have a national database. We have so many ghost names to pay. What kind of government is this? Why do I set up a company, Prime, like this particular studio, and then Prime TV cannot pay workers unless the owner of Prime TV has to go and borrow money every day and come and pay you? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? This is where we are. Go and find out the number of people. Look, I heard our economy is bad. If our economy is bad, change the management of the economy. The people. That is what we need to do. That means you cannot manage. And if you cannot manage, you need to move out. And then somebody says coup. Coup is not a solution to our problem. I tell you today, the easiest way to remove government is by going to the ballot box. Write them down. The easiest way to change government is by going to the ballot box. The most difficult way to change government is by coup.
What do you make of Professor Tukuba's statements recently at the press, at the public, event that we had?
He said a lot of things. So which one do you want to hear?
About his statements on the coup. Misinterpreted, or I don't know if you'd recall.
I think he went a little bit overboard. He made and he didn't stop there, he continued. When he said that if we don't take time, we have a coup in our hand anytime soon. And he explained that the situations that demands coup. But then he went further to say the situation that makes a coup possible, some possible and some impossible. That means those that are able to coups that.
Yeah, let me pick that clip shortly. Let's play that clip.
In this country. Yet I fear that if we do not act quickly, we may have one in our hands very soon. A former colleague, doctoral student at Harvard, wrote his dissertation also on Ghana. He now teaches at a war college in the US. Imagine the name of the college, War College. Whilst my topic was on the Ghana police, his topic was on the Ghana military. Naturally, our paths intersected, and we have remained friends since. My friend's PhD thesis was on the topic, quote, why certain coups succeed and why others fail. His case study was Ghana. My current assessment that Ghana may be ripe for a coup partly springs from the knowledge I gained from accompanying my friend through part of his doctoral research on this topic.
Yeah, this is where we stop as well.
Exactly. This is where Professor should have stopped. Professor is a friend, a classmate. We started mentioning, and he said, Ghana, this is the conditions we find ourselves. So what he was telling is that we are ripe for what? A coup. And that's where I think that that's the only fault with his statement. Beside all the things he said, the economy, the problems, the CD, the dollar, all is true. 100%. He's not wrong. At least somebody must speak up. We don't want to live in a country of, what do you call it? How do you call it? Silence. Where people cannot voice out their opinions. I don't think we want to live in that country. He's clearly saying his opinion. Everybody can come out and say his opinion. So I don't see anything wrong with Professor's statement. But just that coup is not what we're looking for. And that's what I said that it is. You see, I wanted you to ask me why I said that it is very cheap and easy to remove government by ballot, and it's very difficult to remove government through a coup. Ask already our economy, where is it? Bankrupt.
As
debt.
described.
As described by Hassan Ayariga. No, as it is.
Well,
my brother,
yes.
If I look at your face, I know that you know that what I'm saying is true. But you media, you don't want to mingle yourself in the problem to freedom of speech.
Yes.
Say it the way it is. Nobody will come arresting you.
Our job is to report.
Yeah, but report what?
Report what is
happening.
Yes, what is happening.
And also add your voice to what is happening.
Which is being done.
No, most of you don't do it. I'm being honest. You see, if you know how much government pays to media to silence them, you'll be shocked. I'm telling you.
There's evidence to back
every government pays a lot of money to silence the media. It's not one government. It's not the MPP government. MPP and NDC, they do it. Why do you think that the media houses are owned by politicians? Most of the media houses. Go and do proper research, and you see that most of the media houses are owned by politicians. Why do you truth stories?
Well, our platform is very neutral, I can say.
Yeah, I hear you say credible, independent.
Which is a true reflection of what we are.
That's. I hope so.
Yes.
That under the carpet, they are not doing. I don't want to comment to. I say I hope under the carpet.
None of that. We report this as it is.
Things are not doing the way they are. I just want. As for me, I will come out. That's why you ask me why should Ghanaians vote me. I say the way it is, and I always like live interviews, so that you don't manipulate my interview. I will say it. If the president is corrupt, I'll say the president is corrupt. If the president is not corrupt, I'll say he's not corrupt. If the economy is good, that if we want to change, it is going through the ballot, voting them out quietly, and bringing in a new government. And this year, this coming election, I cannot promise you, but I will say with authority that we'll have 3 political parties contesting the elections.
Namely?
And Ghanaians will now have a choice for the 3rd, 4th they've been looking for. I'm praying hard that we'll have only 3 parties. And if this time Ghanaians fail to give the third force the opportunity, then they should stop talking about third force. They should be blamed for anything the NDC and the MPP will do to them. Ghanaians want our option force 2024 because we are all tired. We are all fed up. Your bread, boys are bread, mbanu bread, nimia ya bread.
As at November 2021, it was registered that the country's debt stock was around 344 billion cedis. Yes. Now, imagine the APC comes into power. Would you be able to clear what we are already owing to be able to start off new developments? And isn't this the reason why some of the, we see slow growth, if I can say that, in development in Ghana?
The slow growth in development in Ghana is because we don't produce, we don't manufacture, we have so much loopholes.
Because we are
so
owing.
Corrupt. No, we are not only owing. You see, when I say we can't even pay, we are borrowing to pay debt. Do you know that? We are borrowing to service debt. All of them that have been mortgaged. I'm being honest with you. All of us, we are debt. We are sitting, we are debt stock. And that's why I say that when I come to power, the first thing is I will form a debt recovery fund so that those people who want to pay their debt, every Ghanaian will be approaching the amount of debt you pay. We start paying to that debt recovery fund. I will put up proper institutions to start manufacturing and producing. Make Ghana a production and a manufacturing hub and an industrial hub. As we sit today, practically tell me what we do. Look at our currency. Baumia was shouting, making noise all over the country. I don't know whether he's alive or he's some fundamentals. And what has happened to the exchange rate? The dollar is almost 1 CD, 70 something, $1 7 cedis, 7 point something cedis. The euro is 8 cedis. The pound is on the high, on the rise. It's one in that one. The IGP, this IGP, current IGP cannot arrest it. The IGP could have failed. He can't arrest it because it's gone too high. The IGP doesn't have a weapon to arrest that one. No cell can lock the pound. No cell in this country. So you ask yourself, now look at the...
Talk about that. Isn't that the first of... and I read your take on this as with regards to what we can do with our crude oil. Isn't this a global conversation as we speak? I mean, in many parts of the country. Yesterday I saw was following the fuel prices on a high about $4.10 or so in the US as well, and people complain. Isn't this a global conversation yet?
Everything is a global issue. It's how you manage it. We have oil, so if but when we say we are independent and we are not, that is why we are so worried about. We take advantage. Look, when the budget was read, it was about 61% was on the issue of oil. It's now 120.
Yeah.
That means we have surplus. Can't we use that to cushion, reduce the fuel prices and help the people? You see how we are thinking? We take advantage of everything. So we don't really care. We have crude, yet we are buying oil higher than the market price, the world market price. What is wrong with us?
Because
why can't we refine? Yeah, so we should do a refinery and stop importing refined products. Don't we have that? But we spend billions of cedis to buy land cruisers and share to ministers and MPs. But we cannot spend $300 million, even less, to put up a proper... Look at even our toll. It's collapsed. I was talking about the oil companies. Go and see their routes to the company. They destroy all the mining sites. And we are watching them. Hey, African man, ya botampa.
Would that be fair to them if you ask them to make that construct? But anyway, we are opening phone lines on 0302216993 or 694. You can join in the conversation as well. Please, when you call, mute your television sets and join in the conversation. Or you can send us WhatsApp on 0551 575757. You can share your thoughts on our conversation. 65 years of independence. What is the way forward? I'm talking to Dr. Hassan Ayariga this morning. He's my guest on the show. So you were of the view, I mean, let me just roll us back, coming back from the conversation on fuel. Let me go back to the e-levy and still take your final take on that. As in, so would you want this to be passed? Yes or no?
Are we sure that if we pass it, government will make good use of it?
Isn't it the reason for the town hall meetings where they are trying to educate people?
No, they are trying to educate people that they need e-levy. And if you see the senior high school not come. When you were giving us free senior, did you talk about e-levy? You see, don't play with the minds of the Ghanaian people. Be sincere. Come out with your policy. I want you to help pass e-levy. These are my issues. Let's be sincere to ourselves. And that's what I'm challenging President Akufo-Addo. That on the 6th March, he said everybody should come on board. Let him engage the leadership of Parliament of the MPP from both sides. Sit with both sides and see which part of the e-levy is good and which part is wrong. I said that to pay double taxes on the e-levy is wrong. Because you see, when you send money, when you send money to me, you pay e-levy. Makes sense.
Please let me hold you right there. I've got a caller on the line. I have Richard. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
Yes, Richard. Please, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Accra, sir.
From Accra. Talk to us.
Very well. Concerning about what the Prof said the last time, I think you played the tape right now.
Yes, we did.
Good. What the Prof said, I think, was not something that it should be comparable at all in this country. Because, look, coup is not something that we don't need even to talk about it in this country. Look, we were here when Liberia had coup. You saw what happened. Okay, when there's coup right now, nobody is granted to survive. Okay, the other point is, look, coup. My brother, so the other thing is, the Prof should know that coup is not the solution of this crisis. But what he meant was that the solution is to be a coup. And coup is not something that we should even think of.
Richard, thank you very much. Definitely staying away from that conversation. I have Abubakar Asua from Kumasi. Abubakar, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, please. Talk to us.
Yeah. Dr. Ayariga, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes. My take on this, and I have one question because I know the Nkrumah's-based parties, you are really focused on the, internal, Mr. Dr. Ayariga. Can't we build a refinery ourselves? Or if we have, why is it that we cannot operate the refineries in our own country? What is the actual problem? We cannot do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abubakar. Well, he threw the question back to us, and yes, the same thing you're talking about.
I think it's lack of leadership and the personal interest of big companies who think that if we begin to refine our product, they won't be able to import. Don't forget, most of these politicians, when they take over power, they begin to become traders of fuel.
Okay, let me add Abdulaziz to this, and then let's find out what he has to say, and then we can ask.
And good morning to Honorable Hassan Ayariga.
Good morning,
I'm calling from Boku.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Yes, I'm calling from Boku.
Well, welcome, my brother.
Yes, so I want to say thank you to Hassan Ayariga. I've been listening to him from the beginning, and he's really giving us a good submission. You know, as we know him, he will always say the fact. Sometimes Ghanaians doesn't want what we want to defend it. That is why the country is thinking like this. The moment you say the truth, people say you hate it. What Atologa said, he's addressing the issues in the country. This is the current issues in the country. And what is wrong with if somebody is addressing the issues? So that is what I want Ghanaians to know. Let's stop defending on net.
Oh, I'm sorry, we lost you on there. In this radical one-term, I'm wrapping up with you, but in this radical one-term plan to revolutionize things and get this country back on track, wouldn't you be described as a possible dictator or a leader with deaf ears to advisors and, you know, politics and all the things that add up to governance?
No, I didn't say I was going to be a dictator. I said I was going to put proper institutions to work automatically. I'm going to unman so that you, when you go to a company, have a national database. The national database will give us a pure picture of the Ghanaian people, how we live, how we survive, what we do, the kind of income we get, the things we do. A national database will give a clear picture of everybody.
Isn't that what the NPP is trying to do with the Ghana card and the registration of all these SIM card re-registrations?
It's amalgamations of informations of voters that they intend to win another election. There's no day. Look, I have applied for the Ghana card since February 2018 till date as we speak. They don't even know where my Ghana card is. And they're asking me to go to the police to report that I've misplaced my Ghana card. And I look at the man. I said, do you know the person you are talking to? I should go to the police and tell the police that I've misplaced my card. So they should issue me. Did you give me the Ghana card? Have I ever seen my Ghana card before? So you want me to go and lie? If you don't get me a Ghana card, then the trouble will continue. So you see, these are the kind of things about you. Facial recognition, fingerprint, your information, your date of birth, your children, your house, the number of...
Isn't that what's being collected?
No, that's a different thing altogether. Where you work. So it will help us in every institution. Even the police. When something happens, they come there. All they need is to get samples of fingerprints, facial recognition, and they key it into the system, and it will show all the people who were there. Every institution, you will not have double face of anybody because you have one, and it will synchronize everything and come out with a perfect picture of everybody. That's what big developed countries are doing. Wherever you work, the system will show. How many children you have in this country, the system will show. The number of cars you have, your number plate, it will show in the system that your car number plate is so. Even your land, when you buy land, it will be captured. Because all these things will have a data. No more issue of land guys fighting land. No, every land is captured.
In 4 years?
Of course. What is wrong with that? You see, because we don't work, that's why we think 8 years is a lot of newspapers, unnecessary newspapers that is not useful to you. You will see that the time is too much. But when you are working, you finish work and you'll be fine. And you see that you yourself, you realize that I have done something. Go to offices and see what they are doing there.
Have to hold you on there. But I've been talking to Dr. Hassan Ayariga. He's the founder for the All People's Congress. And thank you very much for joining me this morning. He's been my guest. We had a great conversation over an hour plus talking about Ghana at 65. Well, you can replay this conversation on our social media platforms. Joy Prime TV. Into the world of traditional marriage. If you're ready, you sit back, relax, and enjoy. But let me ask you this before you go. Are you, what is your take on white weddings and traditional weddings? Should we abolish white weddings and just focus on our traditional weddings?
We are. That's why racism will never stop. we are even differentiating between white and black weddings.
Well, we refer to...
wedding is wedding.
Yes.
You see, we copy it and put the ring on me. If it's a Muslim wedding, we have Christian wedding, we have Muslim wedding. There are two types of wedding that I know. But to say white wedding
in church,
in church, well, you have to go to church to do a white wedding. I can stand in front of my house and bring the pastor there and say, Pastor, come and...
In the presence of what?
In the presence of 10
Rose,
people.
I just found you a new guest, please. That's for joining us. All right, we have to go now. Quick break, we'll be right back.
Thank you.